Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. It is some date in early May here. Where did April go? We're here in May already. I am going to stay off camera here. Emily and I are mobile on our way back from the Outer Banks, and I'll talk a little bit about just some of the reasons we do things like staying healthy. It's not just for staying healthy, for some clinical result. Is for doing things you love to do, and we certainly had that experience this past week. But I'll circle back around to that later. In the meantime, I'd like to go around the horn a bit. And Carol, over to you in sunny Florida.
Well, good morning, everybody. And yes, it is sunny. There isn't a cloud in the sky.
We have no heat. Were you frozen?
Oh, we got some background noise. Please mute.
Our heat is not working. So he called the guy.
Yeah, we're getting somebody's conversation in here.
Yep, Julie, please mute.
Okay. Anyway, it is a beautiful, beautiful day in Florida. And off to a wonderful start of Saturday. Already putting fires out. That's the name of the game, right? And but I got two announcements I want to make coming out of the chute. First of all, our wonderful Eric and Emily Rashi, and how good they've been on putting all of these beautiful Saturday mornings together, and how accomplished they are with the HealthPointe program. I'm going to stop for a minute here. How wonderful they are with the HealthPointe program, but they're also wonderful business builders. And I know many of you are on the HealthPointe program, not involved in our business at all, and that's totally fine. But for those of you that are, I do want to make an announcement that Eric and Emily, for the month of April, actually accomplished business builder and bronze builder. Bronze builder is a very, very substantial level in the business. And so I wanted to give them a hearty congratulations to both of them. And just thank them for all they do for us while they're building their successful business. So I do want to make that congratulations. And then also I want to do a welcome, and that is to Bruce and Eileen Bradley. And Bruce and Eileen, many of you know them. They've been extremely successful in the program as clients. And on, I guess it was Thursday night, they came over and chose to become business owners with us now. So they are going to be coaches because they love the program so much. And Eileen shared with me, she lost 65.8 pounds, I think it was. And Bruce is just right behind her. And they've done such a great job. And so they decided they wanted to share and kind of pass the brass ring, or not pass the brass ring, pay it forward. That's what they want to pay it forward and help other people. So we welcome Bruce and Eileen into our business. We're very excited for them to be on the other side now as business owners. So Bruce and Eileen, if you're there, we would love to hear from you.
Hey, everybody.
There they are.
So we're pretty excited, of course, because we love the program. You guys know that. We are always saying how much we do. And I hit 60, like Carol said, 65 point something, and Bruce is, so we're at 110 plus together. And that's pretty exciting. And I went to my mom's doctor with her. She's a vascular surgeon, and he was talking about sleep apnea with her. And he said, you might get rid of it. And I shouldn't have said it, but I'm like, well, it doesn't always work because it didn't work for me. But he says, well, you're not overweight, so you don't really know. And so I just left it at that. I'm like, oh, cool. That's so cool for him to say that to me. And I just left it alone. But I think that's all we wanted to share. We have to go help people move at 9 o'clock. So we have to leave, of course, and go help someone.
Well, I wanted to say that
I don't have anything.
You guys just came back from Key West. You were in Key West for 4 or 5 days, and it looks like you did really, really well on your eating. You've been champions as far as traveling, having an extremely busy social schedule, and still really, really doing well. on all phases of the eating program. And so if you wanted to make a comment on that before you have to leave, for the folks that, you can have life around HealthPointe.
Well, and you do have to work at it. Like when we were in the Keys, we wanted to go get salad and, some grilled fish. And some restaurants are better than others. Like one salad was really poor. I'm like, man, this stinks. We make a better salad ourselves. But in a restaurant another day, and it was awesome. But they gave us these vegetables. There were not grilled. They were zucchini and carrots and summer squash, which they like must have flash parboiled and then sauteed them real quick, and they were crunchy. I'm like, oh my goodness, those are so good. So, there's challenges. We did bring our own food just to make sure we had good food. But yeah. We were watching a Netflix series, and in it in the 70s or 80s, a woman is quite overweight and she's in a health group, support group. And they're talking about, well, I passed up donuts at work and I passed up this, and it's all based on what they gave up. And I'm like, they're struggling so much. They need to focus on how much they're getting. And that's what I hope to pass on to people that I work with, that focus on what you get. Maybe you do get really good food. You do get really good salad and vegetables and all that, you do, but you also get so much more, your health and your mental happiness. So that's what I hope to share with people, is how much you get. Don't focus on what you don't eat.
I would just say that I was just thinking this morning as we were walking, like this is my favorite part of the day, is getting out walking first thing in the morning and getting the steps in and getting my body going. Really is my favorite part of the day.
And we didn't do it before. This.
Well, you definitely created some fabulous habits, and you've done such a beautiful job of making pretty food. I know Bruce is good in the kitchen, and some of the stuff that I've seen him make just looks gorgeous. And so I think HealthPointe can be pretty food also. You can make salads and wonderful things that God put on this earth, and proteins and what have you, and make them look pretty. It doesn't have to be drab. So congratulations to the two of you for being just so adaptable to your very, very busy lifestyle.
Well, thank you. And thanks for all your support.
Well, you are welcome.
I just wanted to jump in here real quick off camera here and just say how so excited I am to hear that Bruce and Eileen are, coming on over officially coaching. I know we kind of tripped into it accidentally last week, or just it was just so interesting how that conversation came together. But just to hear that it's actually occurred this past week, and that I'm just so excited, because I know they undoubtedly are influencing lots of people, even in a informal pay it forward, just being an example. I mean, how can't you be? I mean, you hear Bruce talking about how getting walking in the morning is now his favorite part of the day. You hear a combined weight loss of well over 100 pounds. You hear about, doctors, making different comments regarding sleep apnea and so forth. I mean, that is just a wave of influence. That is a ripple effect that without even being official, right? Just being who they are, doing the program, and now to lever that into a more formal and equipped, positioning to be able to lever that. I'm just so excited for Bruce and Eileen, and Carol, you and Hank, and just got to be thrilled. And of course, Bruce and Eileen have got to be thrilled to have your guidance. So I know Emily and I certainly are. So I'm just no. I don't know what my point is, other than I'm excited.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Well, I think what Bruce said just a few minutes ago about the best part of the day, happiest part of the day, is the power walk in the morning. And we always do say This isn't called Diet Point. It's called Healthy Point. Health Point. And so now we can call it Happy Point, because when you are on the Health Point program, you're happy because you're doing something positive. You're addressing stress. You're addressing things that you are changing, and you are becoming happier about you. So let's call that Happy Point. That's a new program. And it kind of ties in with, I've been reading a lot about stress. And stress is, well, in fact, on one of our continuing education audios this month is David Gonzalez, who's a psychologist. And the other lady, her name escapes me, who's also a psychologist. And talking about the stress that people are under and what they're experiencing, not only just in COVID, but years after. I mean, here we are 4 years later after COVID, and how stressed out people are. And I think we need to get them on a Happy Point program where they can address stress, what is stressing them, and then supplement, eat properly, do positive things in their life to lift the stress, and then also look at what is stressing me and address it, and go to your coach or go to the bathroom mirror and get a program to start addressing that. And I think through the Network 21, who is the founder of HealthPointe, that provides our beautiful HealthPointe audios and many, many other audios that are really good for personal growth and addressing these things like stress and all these other different types of things, and also business building. But we have that ability. And so if we listen to that type of material first thing in the morning, do your walk first thing in the morning, boy, you're getting yourself off to a really positive, strong start, so that whatever does hit you during the day, you are in a much stronger position to address it. And I think that's something that we don't maybe talk about enough. And through our supplementation program, it allows us to be nutritionally more balanced. So when you're nutritionally balanced, and then through our eating program, that's going to help you to address stress in a much more positive way also. And there's a new product that's just coming out May 8th, and I'll just mention it real quick. It's called ashwagandha, and it's part of our Nutrilite Organics line. And ashwagandha is an herb. It's a Chinese herb that's been used many, many, many years for stress, just not in the United States. And now it's being recognized as a very, very powerful stress reducer. And so we're coming out with an organic Nutrilite ashwagandha product that's very effective. And they're even running a little special. If you buy 2 bottles, you get a bottle of our probiotic stress release, which is a probiotic. I like to take it at night, that really helps you address stress. It helps work with the vagus nerve to address these stress issues in a natural way. And so we'll probably talk more about that in the future, but I just wanted to mention, when we're talking about Happy Point, is part of it is just taking control of stress. You're not going to get rid of stress, because we live on this side of heaven, so we're going to be dealing with stress, but we can address it, and we can work with it in a positive, proactive way, so that it doesn't take us down. We take it down. And so just wanted to mention that real quick. So with that, Eric, congratulations again. And we're going to turn it back over to you. And we're just so excited about your growth.
Yeah. Thank you. And, just, I guess, as you're talking about stress, a lot of people, part of the stress is financial stress. And so just a quick touch on that, in business building, to be able to, perhaps relieve some financial stress. I know in the bronze program, the bronze builder program, I mean, that's a big kicker on bonuses. Very big kicker. It's actually unbelievable. And so just, I know with all the things that we, primarily focus on in this walk and talk is, centered around the nutrition and the client focused portion of this. But since we're talking a little bit of business building, I guess, I'll just note that, a lot of folks out there, if you look at what their sources of stresses are, I would say probably the two biggest buckets would be health stress, meaning just, metabolic issues, weight issues, diabetes issues, health related issues. And then, financial stress, they're just, as David Dornan says, maybe they're just at their nose is just at the waterline, where any little stress, a flat tire, broken appliance, a little this or that, and their nose goes underwater because they're so close, and they can be making, big money, or not big money and still be at that waterline. So it's not always a matter of income, but a lot of times it is. And so, again, we don't focus on that aspect of things very much in this Saturday call, but just it's a very natural outcome, as we're seeing here this morning with Bruce and Eileen, where people become examples, they become influential, just as being clients, and just to know that they have an opportunity to raise their hand and be considered as a coach, as a facilitator for the program, and then to be able to drive income is just really, really great. So that's not what I wanted to mention here in my little segment, but I just thought I would key in on the comment that you're making, Carol. No, really all I wanted to say on here, as Emily and I are making our way back from the Outer Banks, is, why do we focus on health? It seems like a strange question, but I guess, we can get, or I'll just speak for myself, I can get very clinical, very analytical about some of the aspects of health. And I like that end of things. I like the science end of things. But let's not forget that the reason that we're focusing on optimizing our health, optimizing our energy, what we're capable of and how we feel, is primarily for some aspect of lifestyle. And, Emily and I are coming back from a beautiful week in the Outer Banks with friends. And, this is not, well, I was going to say, this is not a sit around, lay in the sun type of vacation. It actually is, at some points it is, but it's also a very active group. We're there with about 20 or so friends that are all in one aspect or another in the kiteboarding community. And if you know anything about kiteboarding, it's a water sport where basically you're letting the wind, and that's why we go to the Outer Banks, is because it's one of the most consistently windy areas in the United States. It's actually where the Wright brothers, if you know anything about the Wright brothers, the history of their flight testing, they actually did it they're from Ohio, and they traveled to the Outer Banks to do it. And why did they do that? Because they had the consistent winds to do that. So we're capitalizing on that same consistent winds to, lash ourselves to a big, enormous kite, get it up in the air, and let this thing pull us along the water at pretty high speeds. And at times you do some funny things to the kite where you can kind of manipulate it, and next thing you know, you're being drawn up into the air like an elevator, and 10, 20, 30 feet up in the air and coming down. And what's my point on that? I'm not saying that everybody should be considering sports like that, but what I'm saying is that we're not 22 years old. In fact, I'll just say on here, I'm 57, Emily is 56, and that's not 105, but it's not 22 either. And to be able to go out and do that kind of activity, and Emily, as we're down there, she's doing one of her training runs for her upcoming, well, 2 races. One is a 25K, which is, call it 15 miles. That's just coming up here in a short couple of weeks. And then at the end of May, she'll be up in Traverse City, Michigan at the Bayshore Marathons at 26 miles. And, we're down there in the Outer Banks, and, she does a training run of 20 miles, and people are like, hey, Emily, where have you been? I haven't seen you for a few hours. Oh, I was running. Oh, really? How far did you run? 20 miles. What? You ran how far? And so whether it's doing things like that, or whether it's, being able to get down on the floor with your grandkids and roll around with them, or travel, or just do the things that you love. We're not doing HealthPointe so that we can just check a box somewhere, or so that we can get some lab report that says how healthy we are. We're doing HealthPointe so that we can do the things that we love with the people that we love, and, with as minimal restrictions as possible. And certainly to be able to affect those, restrictions that we have control over, like nutrition, like, macronutrients, like, the HealthPointe program. And so I just wanted to speak to that, because sometimes I do go down kind of the science corner, and, I just want to remind myself and remind all of us that we're doing this for lifestyle. And it doesn't have to be extreme lifestyles. I think, Bruce hit it so well this morning, where he said, his best part of the day is getting up and doing walks. And I would say with Emily and I, same thing. We're going to be back in Michigan shortly. We're going to be reunited with our two dogs, both of which are very energetic. We've got a black lab and a Basenji. And part of our, most consistent enjoyment is, grabbing the dogs, throwing them in the vehicle, going to, one of the several locations that we love to go to. And one of them is kind of a sledding hill, where they're going terrorizing each other, tackling each other, running up and down the hill. And it's not like Emily and I are limping along trying to keep up with them. We're running around with them and having fun. And soon we'll be opening up the cottage is already open along Lake Michigan, and to take the dogs and go out on the shores of Lake Michigan and, go walking for, a couple of miles, every morning, and enjoy the beautiful nature. I mean, that's what we're doing this type of stuff for. And it's not just for some clinical report. So anyhow, that's fresh on my mind. That's kind of just what I wanted to share. And I'll turn it over to whoever might want to go next. Again, I'm mobile right now, so I might not be hosting this meeting as well as I sometimes would like to. So anybody that would like to unmute and chime in, I'll pass the puck to you. Or back to you, Carol, if you want to, although you're muted right now.
Okay. Listening to you, Eric, well, I'm not 57 anymore, but I remember, and, still loving life and active, not kiteboarding, but active. But it makes me think back on when our grandchildren were growing up and we lived in Michigan, and I was your age, and I can remember little things. So I'll speak to those of you that are grandparents or will be grandparents someday, or even those of you that have children. Like Eric said, getting down on the floor and playing with them. And I can remember, in fact, I've got a video of it. Oh, I should send it over to you, Eric. It's kind of funny. But it was me and the granddaughters in Michigan out in their front yard, and we were jumping around and running around and dancing and doing splits. And it was all to some music. And the girls have so many fond memories of that, and how their grandma could do splits with them. And it was just something that, and the airplanes. How many grandparents would like to do airplanes with their children, their grandchildren? Very few can. Now my grandchildren are much bigger than I am now. They're in their mid-20s. In fact, our youngest one just turned 21. She's our youngest. But to be able to just do stuff like that. And it's like Pete Mass, who's a tremendous dream builder and actually has a restaurant on the Outer Banks. Pete always says at conferences, I do it because I can. And Pete is in his 80s and he does it because he can. And isn't it wonderful, the feeling, maybe you don't want a kiteboard, maybe you know, whatever, but you pick and choose because you can and not because you can't. And I can remember Bill Wall, who is not on our calls normally. Bill and the Marnie Fondren team has done a beautiful job at HealthPointe back in 2001. And he lost over 100 pounds. And he's kept that off to right now. And Bill's whole goal was to be able to get down on the floor and play with his children. And then, of course, it was grandchildren, because this is 20 years later now. And that was his goal in HealthPointe. So, like Eric says, sometimes it's not just a number. I mean, it should be a number on a lab report. We certainly want to keep an eye on those. But it's more than that. Is what does that equate to? It's like we always say in our business, what is your goal or what is your dream? Oh, I want to make an extra $500 or an extra $200. Okay, that's money. So what does that translate to you? It's the same thing here. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, what does that translate to you? Losing 30 pounds, does that mean you can get in a smaller size dress? Does that mean you can swim a few extra laps? Does that mean you can do airplanes with your young grandchildren? Does that mean you can do airplanes with your own children? It all equates to a quality of life, whether it be a figure on a lab report or just the ability to do something like maybe climb a mountain or rock climb or just do crazy stuff, whatever. You have the power to choose it, but you also have the power to choose how to get there. And that's what we talk about so much in HealthPointe. And that's why when we send audios your way, those of you that are clients, we send a number of audios, and many of them will just address these types of things, what it did to them psychologically. You know, I can remember one gal, and she said, I was a total mess when I came in, just down on myself, you know, the whole gambit. And here today, now she chose to take the business route and did build a business and became very, very financially set through using the HealthPointe as a tool. But there's lots of different reasons. And I think the important thing is for you, if you want to be a coach, if you want to build a business and reach out to other people, or you want to do the program yourself, what is your reason? Reasons and goals and dreams are always the first step of anything you do, whether it be build business, go on HealthPointe, or do anything in life. It's something that's got to drive you. And the more it drives you, the more excited you are about the whole process. And when you start to see results, that's when HealthPointe becomes HappyPointe. So that's my take. Let's see, who else we got on here that we want to hear from? We got David Dassow or Billy Wright or Larry Fitzpatrick or
good morning, everybody.
Okay.
Oh,
Erica.
we got Erica on here
Hey.
now. Yeah, good morning, Erica.
How you guys doing? I am running a 5K at the moment.
Awesome.
Because you can.
Yeah, I ran the D5K with a client of mine. He's actually walking, but he is 78 years old and he had never been to a gym until last year. So he hired me as a coach, and he's doing the 5K walk behind me, but just wanted to pop in and say good morning to everybody. and tell you guys, this is the first time I'm running with my supplement in my fanny pack. I only had a coffee this morning, and then I'm gonna get brunch with my client afterwards, and didn't want to take my supplements on an empty stomach. So I got them in my little pill box in my fanny pack. So anyways, have a great morning, everybody. I'm gonna go back to listening.
Hey, thanks so much for popping on here. I know it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but I just think that's so awesome. Talk about, leading by example, not only on getting out and doing
Sorry,
the
everybody.
run.
I muted because there is a lawn maintenance noise. Unfortunately, at 8 o'clock in the morning, many lawn maintenance people are out, so I muted. So I didn't want to just give a whole bunch of silence here. But so let's see who else we got on. David Dassow's always got some great stuff. David, are you there?
I am here.
We can't
Good
hear
morning
you.
from Michigan.
We can't hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
morning.
unmuted. We can hear you. We can hear
okay.
you.
Okay, I thought
Good
I was
morning,
unmuted.
Dave.
Good morning, everyone. And congratulations to Eric and a bronze builder. That's why I strive to be your wingman and just to catch your breeze, and try to keep up with you. One thing bouncing off of today is I talked with a teacher this week, and this is May, and most teachers are pretty stressed in May. So I was talking to a teacher about stress and wellness and wanting to lose some weight. And one of the things I just shared with them and talking a little bit about HealthPointe was one of the keys to success is having a coach. She had kind of mentioned that, yeah, I know what to do. And I said, everybody kind of knows what to do, but you need somebody to be accountable to. And I said, one of the perks of our program is you get a coach who will be there every day if you need it, or once a week, depending on you. So anyways, just the power of coaching that we have in the HealthPointe program. And then last week, we talked a little bit about triggers and dreams. I can't remember. What was it, Eric?
Well, we talked a bit about turning triggers into treasures, like emotional
Triggers into
triggers.
treasures. Okay, I knew there was a key phrase there. And so anyways, one of the things we talked about was we also talked a little bit about depression last week. And so I've had 4 heart surgeries that they put me back together again in my 50s. A few years ago, I had to have another heart surgery where they tweaked me back together again. And I'm on no medication, so I've been able to really battle through this and stay healthy. But one of the things it has done, it appears, is it is taking my head in some dark places. They stopped my heart. I'm wrong. My heart's been stopped so many times I can't remember. And but one of the things I just wanted to share is that omegas are really powerful. I take sometimes 4, 6, 8 omegas in a day in order to push my head through that darkness and to become brighter. Taking rhodiola in the morning helps me get off on that brighter start, to have that good first step in the morning. And being able to read my body, but then part of it is we can read our body, but then can you make your body do what you need to do? And so when I get in that dark place, I know that I need to get out and walk and move my body. And so when I move my body, I usually come back and I'm in a better place also. And we talked a little bit about our body overhears everything we think. And so a phrase that I use throughout the day is that my body is a wellness healing machine. And it's healing every organ, every cell, and I'm commanding it to heal my body back to its genetic code. And so those are some things that I've done to overcome, to stay on top of the dark side. And lastly is just to say, my grandson is now 22. And he still doesn't realize that I'm 73. And so he still thinks that I should go out and play soccer with him or be the quarterback and throw footballs. And so I'm grateful again for the wellness program that allows me to still be able to do those things with my oldest grandson, and I have another grandson who's 8, and I kind of do the same thing with him. That's it. Thank you for everybody.
Thank you, David. You're always adding value, and often transparent in a manner that is for many people relatable, and also of value. And I guess I'll comment on that in this realm of transparency. I don't know if I've shared it on our walk-in talks or not, but you talk about kind of your mind going into a gloom. Call it what you want, call it depression, call it what have you. I had a bit of an episode not too many years ago. It was just real quickly, just to give perspective, it was probably brought on by just a multitude of stressors. I had a couple of years with care for my mom, who ultimately passed away, and some other stressors. And the point of this is that I guess that I'm making, and kind of picking up on what you're saying, David, is I always thought of myself. I think I always was, and fortunately I feel like it now, where I'm kind of, I guess, in the Winnie the Pooh story, I would be like the Tigger, right? Pretty upbeat, pretty, and, all of us are susceptible to the different loads in life. And I had never been hit by that. And I never had it officially diagnosed, but I'll just share, just for the value of anybody else that's just going through life. In my situation, it might have almost been like a PTSD type of a thing, where there was just hit after hit after hit after hit, month after month, year after year. And one morning it just culminated in me, like, literally not being able to get out of bed. And, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that on this, format here, only to share, like you're sharing, David, that this should not be a third rail topic. This should not be something that people are, afraid to talk about. Just like we would talk about the health of if our leg hurt or our back hurt, if your mind hurts, if your heart hurts, that's a very real and palpable pain. To swing the pendulum the other way and just say, like you mentioned, Dave, you hit on something, that you feel better when you get out and walk. One of the things that was incredibly helpful for me, once I was able to actually kind of just summon it up to get going, is movement. And Emily was very helpful on that. She has a way of just intuitively knowing, or maybe not even knowing, just, she's very guided by her spirit, is the way I read it. And that was actually my genesis into pickleball. And it was the pickleball that all that movement, and also the socialization, because I went from, daily walking 10,000 steps to hardly, certainly desiring to even walk 100 steps. And so there are physical things that you can do. And I'm no expert on this. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I will tell you that one of the doctors that I studied under, Dr. Daniel Amen, who addresses this because he is a psychiatrist, and it's his clinics that allowed both Emily and I to have our brains scanned. But when he addresses this aspect of dealing with a depression or very low moods, he describes it like this in terms of steps. He says, get walking, and walk like you're late for an airplane. You know, we all can relate to that, right? We all have been to airports, unfortunately, where we're almost going to miss a flight and we know what that walk is like. Okay. And so that's the way he describes it. And I just think that's such a great way to describe it, because when you are late for an airplane, you know, you don't exactly feel happy. So I think it kind of puts you in that same mindset. You know, there's in that case with an airplane, you know, in your flight, there's, you know, fear and anxiety and, you know, just, you know, it's not like you're walking with this big, huge, you know, happiness to you. You're kind of freaking out. You're going to miss this plane. And so when he describes it like that, it's with that context in mind that you might not feel wonderful while you're doing this, but walk like you've got to get to that gate in order to catch that airplane. You know, that will get you at the right pace of steps. And if you can do that, it's really interesting how, you know, you may feel out of control of how your mind is affecting your emotions. That's the scary part of it. You're like, what is going on? And especially in my case, you know, I'd gone for, you know, all of my life, never feeling that. And suddenly it just hit me like a ton of bricks and I didn't see it coming. And it was pretty scary stuff. But, you know, one of the things you can do, you know, well, David, thank you for sharing about the omegas. You know, you can do the omegas, but also if you can walk like you're late to catch a flight and do that routinely, do that daily, that can help as well. It certainly helped me. So that's my comments on that. I'll turn it back over to whoever wants to speak next. Larry, you've got your hand up, I think. So Larry, if you're there.
Okay. Hey, Eric, how you doing? And everybody that's on the Walk and Talk. Hey, it's been interesting information that's been coming out this morning. You know, one thing I wanted to say about Bruce and Eileen is we saw them when they first started their journey. And, you know, and one of the things that that I see is that their self-talk and the things that they focus on, like Eileen was saying, focus on what's working for you instead of what's not working for you, what you're giving up. You know, that mindset, I find that people that are on HealthPointe, because they're not only just doing the walking, they're not just doing the program, they're also working on their thinking as well. And so I can hear Bruce and Eileen's change of mindset as they're going. Now they're focusing on the positive. And I think that's what happens on the HealthPointe program, is that not only are you doing things to keep you active, but you're also focusing on your thinking, and you start thinking about the benefits that you're getting rather than the struggle that you're having or things that you're giving up. You know, another thing is that I was going to say, you know, all my life, one of the things that I wanted to do was to stay healthy. I had family members and they were having many difficulties, and they were having plenty of health challenges. And so I've always kind of focused on health, as we started talking about in the beginning of this program, is because I think you have to keep your mind focused on your health to continue to work towards being healthy. And so, you know, just a benefit of the part of the program. The other thing is that some of the clients that I've worked with and some of the people that I've talked to about HealthPointe is, like David said, most people know what to do. Just doing it is always the challenge. And, you know, one of the things that I tell people is that, yes, me too, I know what to do, but it's difficult to do it by yourself, even when you know exactly what to do. And it's good to have a group, community around you where you are motivated and you can get on the same mindset. We're all on the same mindset in our activity. And one of the things that we notice is that people become more active as they get involved in this program. They start off sometimes with a struggle, but they become more active because they can, as Carol said, okay, because they can. And you know, perfect example was Erica. Erica's out running a race I'm impressed. She's out running the race. She took time during the middle of the race to check in and still talk to us and continue on with her race along with one of her clients. What a great example. So that's all I have to add, Eric. Thanks so very much.
Oh, thank you, Larry, and thanks for circling around on that point about the value of having a coach. That is so big. I heard it said, I can't remember who said it, but they said if it just took knowledge, like you were saying, Larry, we know how to do things, and this author was saying if it just took knowing what to do, we would all have six-pack abs and be billionaires. Because the information is out there on how to have six-pack abs, and the information is out there on how to be a billionaire. So if that's all it took was having the information out there, we would all have six-pack abs and be billionaires. And the fact that we're not points to there must be another X factor that is influencing the outcomes. And that's, again, just to double click on what you're saying and what David said earlier too, when talking with the teachers, is one of the amazingly just incredible parts of the HealthPointe program is having that coach relationship, that someone that, yes, can be an accountability aspect of things. That's very important and can provide that guidance. And then you also touched on, the community. We're part of a overall community, a HealthPointe community. We have a education platform through Network 21. And so that's just great. So yeah, just commenting on that. And who would like to speak next out there?
Eric, I just want to chime in real quick because I wanted to say this in the beginning. And Larry fed right into it, and so did you, about the community, how important it is. And for those of you that are regulars, you probably have missed our stepping queen, Kathy. Kathy hasn't been on for the last, I think, 3 times. Well, Kathy's a regular. But her husband has been probably in emergency and in the hospital more than he's been out. And it's just stuff she has to deal with. It's some hereditary things he's got that they just got to get a handle on and deal with. And she's back again in emergency this morning. And yet, community, there's 2 people, David and myself, that she checks in the minute these types of things happen. She just checks in and lets us know what's happening. And then we just send little messages of affirmation. And I'll tell you something, if you're by yourself with a small family, now Kathy's got 1 son, 21 years old. Now, how much can you dump on a 21-year-old son? Not an awful lot, because they've got their life they're dealing with, and they certainly don't want any kind of a weakness from their parents. And so she can't really go there, but she can come to the community. She can come to a couple people that she feels safe with and can say, okay, I'm back in the hospital, this and that and the other thing. And we can tell her, we're praying for you. You can do it, Kathy. Give a hug to Dave, and be that support for them, where sometimes your family is not, or don't have a family, or maybe your family is not strong enough psychologically to support you too. Sometimes we have family members that are just not strong enough to be a support for you. They're, oh my gosh, and they're going to go down the toilet hearing about this bad news, instead of saying, Kathy, it's going to be okay. Just take one step at a time. Give Dave a hug for us and be strong for them. Many people can't be that strength because they haven't listened to all the stuff that we've listened to and talked and reaffirmed all those types of things. And so I would say that that is why, if you don't see Kathy, that she's getting her 10,000 steps in. That I know. Every single day she gets her 10,000 steps in, whether it's in the emergency room and the outside the operating room. I mean, she's been with her mother. She's been with her husband. She's probably spent more time in the hospital than out of the hospital, not for her, but for her loved ones. And she always gets her 10,000 steps down the hallway. The nurses all know. Now she's got a nurse that's interested in HealthPointe because of her doing her 10,000 steps. Wow. But that's who Kathy is. And so, I did want to say that's why Kathy's not on, number 1. But number 2, here's a girl that knows how to handle stress. she has to be the happy person in that family. And it's not a happy situation. It's a heavy situation that she's dealing with. She's trying to keep a job going, and we don't, everybody's got their issues. But the bottom line is Kathy's always gets her steps in. She's always positive. I'll probably talk to her at 11 o'clock and she'll be happy. She will be happy. I'll guarantee it. And that's because of people like David that she's got as a coach, a personal coach, and all of you as a community. So I wanted to, just kind of say, if you could say a little extra prayer for Kathy and for Dave, that they get a handle on this situation, that would be great. David, I think you want to say something.
Yeah, a quick bounce just to let everybody know, Kathy was not this way when I met her, and she has gained so much strength from being in the Network 21 community and then the HealthPointe community. And so I continue to acknowledge that she's had the strength to take on some enormous issues within her family, like over and over again. And she is so grateful for the Network 21 and HealthPointe community.
I did not know that either, David, because you knew Kathy. Your two sons, her son and your son, have grown up together. So you've known Kathy from way, 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 way back when I did not know Kathy. So thank you for bringing that out. Because
she would have cheered you on down the rabbit hole in the when she's very bombastic. And so back in the day, if something was bad, she would have probably gone down that negative path. Her mother talks about it all the time, how it's become difficult dealing with her daughter because her daughter is so positive.
Where'd my old daughter go? That's funny.
What a great thing to be said about you, right? Guilty as charged, right? I love that. And those of us that don't know Kathy, like you're saying, Carol, those of us that didn't know Kathy like you did, David, before, it's just, isn't it striking? I mean, it's just really hitting me because I just think of Kathy as just being this, she's just vivacious and positive. And one of the things I've said, I don't know if I've said it publicly, I've shared it with Emily, so I'll just go on record as I guess in her absence, I'll have to share it when she's on here as well, or maybe she'll listen to this. But when I think of Kathy, I think I've seen situations where she is immediately thinking of the other person.
Yeah.
She is one of the most unselfish people I've ever known. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, our true selves come out in those instantaneous moments. They say what's on your inside, when you're squeezed, that will come out. And that squeeze is sometimes, under a pressure or just kind of like an instantaneous moment. And I wish I could cite a specific example. At the moment, I can't think of what that is, but there's been more than one time where it almost turned my head because I'm just like, whoa, she on this situation, this whatever it is, was immediately thinking of the other person, not herself. And that is an incredibly admirable quality. And especially if she wasn't like that originally, it gives us all hope. It gives me hope because, if I can become more like that, then, I'll be better off for it. And most importantly, other people around me will be better off for it. But yeah, she is one of the most unselfish. She just immediately thinks of the other person. And I just like, wow, that's just what a quality. And David, if you're talking, maybe you're not talking, but yeah, I just want to let you know you're muted. But
I'm good.
Eric,
I'm listening.
Eric,
okay.
I just want to say that we had, excuse me, alarm security systems in our house that have been going awry for the last few days. And our guy is coming probably at 9 o'clock. So in case I cash out on you guys, I didn't cash out on you. I got to let him in the gates and let him in the house. So I just want to mention that in case I phase out on you.
No problem. Actually, we're coming up to the our wrap up here, and as a matter of fact, Emily and I just pulled into a rest area. So
And
cameras.
I just finished my race.
All
Yay!
right.
I'm on the field. I'm on the
Yay.
field.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for inspiring me. I
Yeah.
was listening to you guys as I was running. So great
What
words
a
of
role
wisdom as
model.
always.
All right.
That is so.
Congratulations.
So cool. The gravel feels so good on my feet.
This is so cool, you know, that in these Saturday mornings, you know, we just kind of drop into different parts of the world. You know, I know Billy's on here one day. We're going to have to ask Billy to, you know, go mobile so he can go outside on the ranch and be walking around with the cattle. Here we've got Erica inside Tiger Stadium. How cool is that?
That's really cool.
Yeah, there's Billy. Yeah. We just pop in. We've got Emily and I guess I've got my background blurred, but that's okay. We're in at a beautiful rest stop in Virginia. So what a crazy world we live in this HealthPointe community, huh? Well,
You
well,
travel
guys,
safely.
yes, we'll do. Yeah, we'll be doing the cannonball run back to Michigan. So looking forward to getting back. If there's nothing else, Emily and I will wrap up here.
One more thing. While Erica's on the line, I just wanted to thank Erica for a few weeks ago being transparent about the brain and her pathway. I just wanted her to know that that really impacted me. It took me a few days to process some of the information, but I have shared it with some psychologist friends and people that I know. And so
wonderful. Thanks for saying that. To be honest, I was really nervous going on. I'm like, I'm going to have to show somebody my brain. Oh my gosh.
I am grateful for your transparency. Thank you
it's
so much.
Funny.
Amen.
Yeah, you're welcome. That morning I was walking before I got on, and I was listening to Nancy Dornan, and it was the audio that said, you're going to want to say, I wish I did, instead of I wish I had. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So
again,
right,
one of the things you taught me that I really liked is that your brain is the hardware and the counseling is the software. And if the hardware isn't in the right place, it can't accept the software. And I just thought that picture just made so much sense to me. So anyways, again, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend.
All right.
All right, guys. See you next time, same place next Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.